So, I'll note at this point that I basically played a series already for this game, featuring the Ferengi Alliance. And I basically played it on easy, and, this is sort of like a newbie, sort of oriented view to, get people who've never, been introduced to the game. It's like some start points based how the game sort of plays and, all that. But I didn't really show off all this game basically had to offer, really. So, I want to basically jump back into it. Anyhow, we're just going to quickly just go here. Now, I'll note by the way if I want to. Basically, all these, save files are basically right here in, my thing here. And I can, save over these if I want to, but I figured for, starting out here, how about I basically show you off a cute little trick basically to get rid of all that stuff. So, if you basically go to your Birth of the Federation, folder here, and basically go to, where all the files are, you'll actually find, the game save files inside the, folder for it. And if you want to, you can, just quickly delete all these. And this will actually make it so that, they're all gone when you basically start up the game again. And when we basically save on a new file, there'll be a new create save for it, and you don't have to deal with the overwriting and stuff like that if you don't like that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna show off I'm basically doing that right now. So we'll just jump right in here. And I'll skip the title screen, and basically all my save scripts files being clear at this point. So we're ready to begin again, shall we say?
Configure game parameters.
Now, last time I basically had these settings for the Ferengi Campaign. We basically played with Cardassians, or not Cardassians, but all the civilizations basically at level 1 beginning tech level. And we basically played a large spiral galaxy, easy difficulty, nothing really too hard really for initial newbie playthrough. But I figured we're gonna mix things up a little bit this time around. Though, before we jump into it, and I'll note that we're going to play with the Cardassians here, I basically want to show off a few different starts, with the Cardassians, so you basically see what the civilization level sort of does.
Select galactic power to control.
The Cardassian Union.
So let's just see what happens when I with development level 1 of these guys. And I'll just hold off basically on skipping their intro, so bear with me while I basically watch that.
Control is the only thing that matters. Methods are not important. Efficiency is what counts in the end. Exploit what you conquer, for in the struggle for survival, every resource is critical. History is written by the victors.
Alright, so that's basically the intro for the Cardassians. A lot different than the Ferengi. Basically with the Cardassians, they're all about controlling the space and galaxy that they're basically around. And that's what basically makes them different from the other races. And this would have been a horrible start, but whatever. Now I basically want to show this off basically where we basically have the different tech levels. I'll note with Cardassia, they're one of an interesting systems basically for starting out, because if you actually start with tech level 1 of these guys, you'll actually notice that one of their planets is actually unterraformed. So at tech level 1, the Cardassians here, they basically have one of these planets unterraformed, and this is what their system actually looks like right here. So they have 12 farms, they got 6 assembly yards, 3 fusion plants, a couple shadow teams, and a science center. And I'll note that this is a faction that starting out for the Cardassians is very, very difficult. Basically, these guys are not really set up to be a diplomatic faction, and they really want basically be pumping out ships and stuff early on. So this is one of the higher races to basically play at development level 1. So we're definitely not going to be doing that with these guys, but just want to show off the different starts for these guys here. So
configure game parameters.
Let's just jump up to level 2 early for these guys now.
Select galactic power.
The Cardassian Union.
We'll skip the intro at this point, because, we've already seen it. Alright, so we're basically back with, Cardassia here. Now note that these guys actually have, all their planets terraforming in, the second level tech level for them. And I'll note that as well, if you look into their system as well, they'll now have, a few more, assembly yards. They'll have a couple more farms, a few more power plants, a few more shadow teams, and of course, one more science center. Now, I'm not the, like, you know, this is probably like the, like, you know, minimum. You basically want to, like, you know, start off with the Cardassians. Basically with, like, you know, 16, like, assembly yards here, these guys at least have, like, some, like, you know, assembly, like, production going for them early on, so they can actually, like, do something early on. They still start with, of course, this one engaged, like, you know, scout as well as an avoid colony ship, but, you know, they're at least doable on this difficulty, like, I find with the Cardassians. Though we still won't be, like, playing with, like, this tech level of either of them to see, you know, in the future.
Configure game parameters.
Okay, let's go up to developed.
Select galactic
The Cardassian.
And I'll note by the way I'm just, like, doing, like, all these multiple starts so you can, like, see, like, you know, what the various, like, you know, sort of stages, like, they do for, like, these, like, you know, civilizations. So we're basically on developed here for, like, you know, the Cardassians. All their plans, of course, are still developed because, like, you know, we're basically a step up. They now have a full population count. And if you look in Cardassia as well, you'll notice that basically they now have, I guess, a little bit less hydroponic farms, but, you know, like, much more assembly yards. They have, like, 10 fusion plants, 5 shadow teams, and 3 science centers. This is probably my preferred, like, starting, like, you know, starting out, like, you know, setup for, like, the Cardassians, because it actually gives them a good chance to actually do something in this game, where basically they'll have, like, you know, a little bit of production to build stuff, and that'll be, like, good for, like, building, like, you know, transports and stuff like that early on to sort of help them out. And I'll note that with the Cardassians, they're really much like the industrial faction in this game. I basically said, like, you know, in, like, the Ferengi video, they're, like, they're spy masters, and they are the spy masters, but they're also very much about, like, you know, producing stuff very easily. So they basically want to be, like, you know, able to, like, produce, like, you know, lots and lots of ships of these guys where you can. And with, like, this tech level developed, they can do it quite well, for sure.
Configure game parameters.
Now, if you remember what I said about, you know, expanded here, this is usually when they actually have at least one, like, you know, other, like, you know, planet system somewhere.
Select galactic.
The Cardassian.
So with Cardassian expanded here, you'll basically see them have, like, you know, a second system. So basically here is Barcon over here, as well as, like, you know, they're, like, you know, usual ships over here. If you look inside their, like, you know, thing here, they'll basically apparently have less hydroponics because, you know, like, you know, they don't need to have that many more, like, you know, when you're basically, like, you know, higher tech level. They basically have 25 assembly yards, so lots of production now. They have one more science center, a little bit of shadow teams, fusion plants. And I probably should be looking at their, like, build, you know, structures and stuff as well, but, you know, if you look in their actual stuff, they basically have, like, a few huge complexes of, like, stuff being, like, built over here. And across level, also a small system over here as well, which is, like, you know, also being developed quite well. So there's, like, you know, Cardassia right here, and here's Barcon over here with, like, you know, apparently one, like, system not, you know, all fully like, you know, colonized, but, you know, it's looking quite well over here as well. And then finally, we have the granddaddy of civilization level, the advanced settings.
Select galactic power.
The Cardassian.
So on advanced here, I'll note that when you're basically advanced, you actually have 2 systems basically in addition to, like, you know, your home sector. You also start with, like, you know, level 2 ships like these guys as well as a destroyer. Over here, we apparently have, like, you know, a fairly high production center. One here as well in Dorov. And over here in Cardassia, you have, like, you know, of course, our massive, like, you know, function as well. We also have, like, very high level, like, you know, buildings as well. So I should probably note, by the way, basically, like, the different, like, you know, civilization levels, you actually have, like, higher advancements, and, like, you know, in advanced here, we actually have, like, tech level 8 for all our stuff here. So we're really, really powerful with, like, our ships and stuff. And I don't know if I, like, go to, like, the shipbuilding here. These are, like, all the stuff we need to build at this point. So, you know, we have, like, their battleships already. We got the, you know, cruisers, destroyer 2s, heavy cruiser 1s, but, you know, whatever. We also have scout 2, strike cruiser 2, all the good stuff. And yeah, I just want to do, like, a quick overview, basically, so you can see, like, you know, what the civilizations basically do. It basically does this, like, for, like, the same for, like, all the other factions. So it basically sort of, like, you know, the Federation, for example, they would basically have, like, their first, like, system, Alpha Centauri, and then, like, you know, stuff like that would be happening. But anyhow, let's actually set up a proper game here.
Configure game parameters.
So I think for, like, you know, playing here, we're just going to have all these guys be able to develop that, you know, develop systems for, like, you know, starting out. I'm actually going to boost up the difficulty to normal here because I'm actually feeling a little bit more confident at this point, you know, because we have this, like, you know, fairly easy win with the Ferengi there. And although, by the way, this is very much a game like, where your starting position very much like dictates like how well you're going to do, but I think we'll do like well enough that I can like get away with like, boosting up to hopefully normal. I'm also going to change the map size to like medium over here, and I'll basically change the shape over here to elliptical for like, our galaxy shape. And let's just, shall we say, get to it.
Select galactic power to control.
Welcome to the Cardassian Union playthrough. Here we go.
The Cardassian Union.
Alright, so. Alright, well, that's not something like, pleasant to see, but there's a comet drone, so we know what's there. And I'll note, by the way, like, this is like, one of the things that'll actually spawn in, like, this randomly into the galaxy if you have, like, random events on, so it will never move the comet drone, but, that system's basically going to be lopped off from us, so we can't actually, make use of it. Where are we on the map here? Damn it. Alright, so here's basically our medium-sized map. We're apparently in, like, the, west part of, like, the area. There's a good chance there could be, like, enemies to, like, the west of us, but, there's a good chance they aren't here as well. I'll note that, of course, because we're developed, we basically have our fully developed, like, system here. And I'll be able to, like, make good use of my, like, production here, basically, to build stuff I want. And starting out, we're going to basically produce ourselves a bunch of troop transports, so we'll start getting these guys underway. So if I want to, I'm going to actually build like, these transports in like 2 turns each, which is pretty good. And at the same time, if I want to, we can get a little bit of research going, I think. Now, note by the way, like early on, it's probably in my best interest to activate a lot of this stuff right here, so let's get our subspace scanner online so I basically see around me a little bit. Our re-education center is apparently online over here, so we'll get that like on so we get our morale. Our basic replicators are our things, so let's put those on. And I'm not going to care about the bunker network, but it's there too, I guess, so we'll turn this on for now, but I really don't care about that either. And there we go, we're basically set up to do some stuff here. We're basically like going to be producing a bunch of troop transfers over here in the Cardassia. And although with the Cardassians, it's all about invading people early on with these guys because they're not really good diplomats like the Ferengi or the Federation or like the Romans, like if you want to be pedantic. And they're not really good like with colonizing either. They're basically all about like spreading out as fast as possible. So we're basically going to be like building colony ships too, but we want to basically build a bunch of troop transfers basically to invade like weaker miners that are around us if we get the chance to. And that'll be what I'm going to aim to do. Now these guys are just going to look around here for a little bit and we'll see what's around us. And let's just take our first turn. After I check my technology. So much like before, by the way, I basically want to like, sort of allocate my science to like, certain places here. And I'll note that starting out here, with our ships, by the way, we basically already have access to like our like, level 3 technologies as a result of being developed. So we're basically like looking at like what we can like build here, and I know basically like some of the fast things I'll be able to get right away will be like the Scout 2, for example. We already built the Cruiser 1, so building like a Cruiser 2 will be good as well to get. Here's a heavy cruiser, by the way. These guys like require a lot of like the production to build, but whatever. There's a strike cruiser. They basically require me to have a bit of construction as well as weapons done. There's our battleship. And that's basically it for our combat ship, so some fairly good stuff here, but we'll have to basically like, get some stuff basically research for it. Starting out, I'll probably try and aim to get like the the strike cruisers basically available, so I'm probably gonna try to get like research going for like weapons and construction here. I can already build outpost 2s apparently, so that's nice. And yeah, we're just gonna try and get our strike cruisers basically available right away. So we'll basically get some weapons from weapons and construction research basically going right now. We'll split between these two so we're not wasting our research. Now let's see how it goes. Alright, now, first turn, let's go.
An alien culture has been discovered.
The Takarians are incredibly resilient and highly intelligent. Their physicists, in particular, could assist our researchers.
Now, I'll note that with, like, the Cardassians, they basically always think about, like, what can these, like, people offer the state? Basically, like, the Cardassians are like a mirror image of, like, totalitarian government that's all about, like, control. And that's what they basically want to, basically do, is just control everything that they can. Now, apparently the Cardassians are right next to us here. They have one orbital battery basically available, but, not much else besides that, so that's cool. I'll note, by the way, that our scanners basically went off and basically see something over here, so that's cool. And there's a small system right here, apparently. Now, I don't want to basically start terraforming these guys like planets right here, so let's just move back to Cardassia with my colony ship. And we'll basically see, like, what pops into one of these systems over here, I guess, when we get a chance. Alright, so here is Pelorzel. This actually is a fairly good system because it's got a big ocean planet, as well as a nice big desert planet, so we can probably get some good population out of this one, I think. But I should probably set this guy to avoid stuff, so
Task Force will avoid engagements.
we'll try avoiding stuff where we can. Now, I don't know if this guy's hostile or not, so I'm just going to, like, leave it alone. The colony ship can go over here and start colonizing stuff where it can, so that'll be its thing. Alright, another fairly... This isn't a terrible system, but it's not great either, so there's Caldra. I'll get my colony ship to basically start terraforming a little bit over here, so...
Planet to terraform.
We'll start colonizing, like, this ocean planet when we get the chance to. Here's Chorus. It's a fairly ugly, like, barren system, but, it's got a bunch of, like, space at least in it. A very barren system for sure, but whatever. Okay, that guy's busy terraforming, which is fine. Okay, here's Corden. Nothing really, like, special about that one, but whatever, it's there. And, it looks like we're actually at the edge of our little galaxy here, so I'm going to say that we're actually right at the edge here. There's very little chance that, like, and I'm probably using a large map here, but, there's very little chance probably, I think, that the, there's going to be anyone over here because of how the galaxy is sort of shaped, with follicular maps, so we're going to have, like, an oval type of shape here, right? So the other guy's going to be, like, over here, I guess, will be the thing.
An alien culture has been discovered.
The Caledonians are fanatical researchers and poor warriors. An excellent combination.
I.e. they're very easy to control, these guys. That's what, they basically,
Terraforming completed.
The Cardassians basically think about those guys. Alright, so this is like an excellent system here because it's basically got a very small population count and no orbitals. So, I'll note both, like, the Cardassians, it's basically all about, like, invading people right away, so we're going to take our troop transports down here to Caledonia. And over here in, like, this system, I figure we'll basically get these guys to start building up some cruisers and stuff, perhaps, so we'll try and get ourselves a combat ship going. Actually, you know what? Let's get some scouts instead. And that might seem very odd building scouts, but, there's actually a good reason to build scouts early on here, so They'll basically take a turn here to build. And like pump out like a bunch of them. So I get my data up as well, because why not? We can just build that up for the future. Kind of got an extra industry, you know, from food there, so that's nice. That's actually a, you know, result of basically my, you know, basic replicators giving me more food here, so that's where the extra food is basically coming from. Alright, so there's a wormhole over here, which is nice to see. I'll note that another reason for like building like, you know, scouts would be like so I can basically like, you know, make up for a possible loss right here of this guy, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Alright, so I built a scout here in Cardassia. Let's just have this guy make his way over here for now. Alright, say 2 unknown ships over here, so it's very possible there's like a major power over here, but that's fine.
Course laid in for wormhole.
We're just going to enter this wormhole right here. And of course my two transfers are going to make their way down to Caledonia right away, so we're going to take them out, so... Your continued existence is no longer tolerable. Prepare your fleets for their doom. It's time to go to war with the Caledonians. I'll go to war for the Takarans too, but you know, we're going to take out the weaker one first, so... They'll go first, then we'll move up to Takarans and we'll go after them. And we'll see how it goes. So declare war against the Caledonians. And we lost our ship in the wormhole, so that's a dead wormhole.
We have received diplomatic news.
Now, I know with the Cardassians, they're very much war-loving, so anything that's like a declaration of war or like, you know, a change in like, you know, treaties is usually like, you know, very favorable to your guys, so... They like to see change in treaties a lot, the Cardassians, so... It'll be fun.
Planetary assault confirmed.
We're gonna attack these guys and see how it goes with them. Whoops, I only built 1 scout so far, and I want to build a few more. So let's just see how it goes at hitting these guys. Alright, we found the Catarans apparently, and there's a Federation ship here as well, so... That's interesting. Alright, well, I don't know if it's like a freeway battle here, so... You know, there's basically 3 ships and they're basically all like enemies to each other, and this is basically what happens when you have like, you know, 3 ships like, you know, all like competing with each other here, so... There's a Kataran raider over there, a Federation science vessel, as well as us over here, so... Let's just open hailing, I guess, with these guys.
Underway.
And we'll see if these guys are hostile or not. I'd say they're very hostile. So, I think we're probably going to lose a ship here, but oh well. The good news is that the Federation lost their ship. Let's just go with top. And you guys are just going to retreat, so...
Underway.
Stay alive if you can.
Good work, helmsman.
They tried to turn around to basically fire at us, but you know, they luckily missed, so we didn't lose our ship there.
They have abandoned pursuit.
An alien culture has been discovered.
The Catarians are cunning saboteurs and would make ideal agents for external affairs.
If I want to make myself even worse at, you know, or not worse, but you know, better at like, you know, intel, here's like a good race for it, I guess. Here's the Catarans.
An alien culture has been discovered.
Greetings from the United Federation of Planets. We come in peace, in the hope of an informative exchange of cultural and scientific knowledge. We look forward to diplomatic contact with your people.
Alright, so here's the Federation. And we basically invaded Caledonia, so we basically have taken their system here. So I now have my second system already. So yeah, there's a Kataran raider over here in this sector. These guys are like the most advanced guys around, so I gotta watch out for that, but you know, I think we're more or less fine on that front.
Select a planet to terraform.
I think I'll basically try and terraform another planet over here, I guess, these guys, so we'll do that. Alright, so apparently these guys have been busy. They got a destroyer as well as, you know, scout out over here, or troop transport. Now, no problem, I'm probably going to try and invade, like, the Cardassians, when, you know, much like I did with the other guys, but, the Cardassians. But I'm going to basically aim to, like, you know, hit Picard first, so... we'll basically start sending these guys over here to, like, you know, Takara. And this is why I'm basically building the scouts, by the way, just for, like, you know, attacking these guys up here. Here's my scout. You can go up to there, and we'll have a look around. Actually, you know what? Let's just go quickly, yeah, we'll go there, I guess.
Task Force will avoid engagements.
We'll see what I can, like, look around with this guy, you know, like, around Federation territory. I'll probably have to build, like, you know, stuff over here soon, but, you know, that's fine. Alright, over here in Caledonia, these guys, of course, are defiant because I just, like, conquered them, so they aren't too happy about being conquered, but whatever. No one probably would be. So, basically, this system here is, like, you know, ready to be, like, you know, done with stuff. Now, I'm actually really tempted to get, like, an Inquisition going on over here. Although the Inquisition is actually something that you can do with, like, the, like, you know, all, like, the different, like, factions. Like, they all have, like, their, like, you know, quick little things they can basically do to try and get, like, you know, morale basically up. Inquisition is, like, a great way of basically, like, getting rid of, like, you know, dissenters in, like, you know, a system. So we basically, like, raise them around really fast, like, the, you know, the, Cardassians, and get, like, this, like, you know, out of the way really fast. So we're gonna start doing that, I think. So the Federation is right over here. On the bottom of the Cardassians, they're probably going to be able to bribe them very quickly, so I'll definitely want to try and invade these guys as soon as possible. So before I like to start bribing them. That'll be a thing.
We have received diplomatic news.
Now, note by the way, the Federation doesn't like when you invade people, so... you're expanding your influence to near our borders. Please reconsider in the interest of peace. Well, they're, you know, not happy about what I did there, but it's fine. Nice world over here, but, you know... not sure what they're basically up to, the Federation here. Alright, over here we're going to build ourselves another scout, I think. Just get that going. Now, I should probably note that this, like, Kataran Raider is actually a pretty strong ship. It basically has, like, as you can see here, quite a bit of hull strength, as well as, like, you know, 180 shields. Compared to, like, the stuff I basically have, like, right now as scouts, yeah, it's not that great. Of course, we'll be able to get better combat ships as we go along here, but, you know, right now these guys have basically the superior ships for sure, the Katarans, compared to mine. Just to throw it out there. And, alright, let's just see here. You're building our scout, you're doing Inquisition. Wow, that's kind of interesting. And it's something like, you know, a lot of people basically complain about in this game. You'll basically see, like, you know, major factions like, say, the Federation, like, declaring war, or, like, you know, the Klingons basically offering peace, like, you know, in very odd times. This seems a little bit off, for sure, but whatever. The chance to prove ourselves against the Federation has boosted enlistments, and, you know, they declare war. So yeah, that's a thing.